Assalamu alaikum. Dear cadets, how are you? Hope all of you are safe and sound with your family members in this ongoing pandemic COVID-19. I welcome you all in this online class organized by Boishal Cadet College. This is Mohammad Motiur Rahman, lecturer in geography of Boishal Cadet College, is now going to conduct today's class with you. We all know why the online activities is going on due to the corona pandemic. That's why, dear cadets, it's our utmost sincerity to prevent ourselves from this pandemic. And today's topic is Sustainable Development Goals. In short, that is called SDG. This topic has been taken from your book Bangladesh and Global Studies, chapter 10 and for class 10. At the end of this class, you will be able to explain the importance of partnership in achieving sustainable development goals, that is SDG. Secondly, analyze results of achieving SDGs. Thirdly, identify the challenges of achieving SDGs. What are the challenges in terms of achieving SDGs? Fourth, explain actions needed to address challenges of achieving SDG. And fifth, design posters in order to create awareness among people about the responsibilities in achieving SDG. And the last outcome of today's lesson is be self-motivated in implementing SDG. What will be the self-motivation if you want to implement SDG in practical life for the country? And a lesson introduction. We know UN is the largest organization in this world, and it is committed to exploring everybody's potentials, dignity, and equality. It has been trying to achieve SDGs comprising elements of economic, social, and environmental development. That means in 3 dimensions, that is economic, social, and environmental development. And as part of this, UN's first attempt was MDG, that is Millennium Development Goals, for the period of 2000 to 2015, having 8 goals. And the result of MDG is poverty reduced and income has risen, that progress in capacity building and economic growth across the world as in our country. We have earned socio-economic capacity to march hand in hand with the world. We'll stand upright in the world from. You have already known that as part of MDG's achievement, Bangladesh is in one of the remarkable countries. As second attempt of UN SDG, it declared SDG on 25th September 2015. That means at the end of MDG, this is the second attempt that was declared at the end of the MDG's tenure. It is also called Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It has 169 objectives and 230 indicators, and the tenure of SDG is 2016 to 2030. After the MDG, we are working for SDG. Another important information about SDG is that here you can see there were 8 goals in MDG, but for SDG there are 17 goals that we will discuss later on. That's why I have not mentioned here. There are some key terms related to today's topic. First one, development. What is development? If you want to define development, development is any positive change of any situation. That is called development. And if we want to define sustainable development, That is, sustainable development is a holistic approach where natural resources will be utilized proportionately to meet up human needs without damaging or making them harmful. There's some words. That is, holistic approach means the total approach, the total way where the natural resources will be utilized proportionately. We must use the natural resources, but that must be ensured that without damaging or making them harmful. Must not be excess only for meet up the human needs. The partnership. A partnership is an arrangement where parties known as business partners agree to cooperate to advance their mutual interests. It may be individuals, businesses, interest-based organizations, schools, governments, or combinations. That means in this perspective, partnership might be take place. Then the one, basic needs. Basic needs are generally defined in terms of minimal list of elements that human beings necessitate, like food, clothes, shelter, health, education, and to some extent in this century that is added entertainment. These are called the basic needs or fundamental needs in another word. Now we'll show what are the goals of sustainable development. First one is poverty, second one zero hunger, third one good health and well-being, fourth quality education, fifth gender equality, sixth clean water and sanitation. If we want to discuss what is no poverty, that means zero hunger. The people must not be live under the poverty line. They must get their foods in due time from their own livelihood. Second one, zero hunger. If poverty will be removed or there is no poverty, then zero hunger will be ensured. Third one, good health and well-being. It's one of the most important for the human being. There is good health and for their well-being. Quality education, this is necessary for the consciousness of the people to make a or the nation or the world or earth. Gender equality means there will be no disparity amongst male or female, boys or girls. Clean water and sanitation, this is also important for our living. The seventh is affordable and clean energy. 8, decent work and economic growth. 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10, reduced inequalities. 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. If you want to explain a little bit about affordable and clean energy, it means that the energy that must be we can consume, we can enjoy, we can get service from this energy, and that must be clean one, must not be polluted. 8, decent work and economic growth. That means the working place that must be the suitable, it will be corruption free, it will be free from the nepotism, it will be free from the any type of irregularities that will ensure the economic growth. 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure must be, you know what is industry, and to facilitate the industry, innovation is must. That means introduce new way, and infrastructure means if we want to establish industry or innovation, that must need the infrastructure. That means the construction of buildings, roads, highways, and etc etc. Reduced inequalities, that means it might be inequalities in terms of wealth and resources, might be based on region, that means developed or underdeveloped, developing, and urban or rural, etc etc. 11, sustainable cities and communities. It means cities must be sustainable, it must not be unplanned cities like as ours, Dhaka. Dhaka is not the planned cities, it is developed as like as whimsical plan. This is not the sustainable one. If there is any natural disaster like as earthquake, then the collapse of buildings will create havoc in Dhaka. 12 is responsible consumption and production. The production and consumption must be responsible way. It must not be the excess one. The 13th is climate action. You already know what is climate in class 7, 8, and 9. That's why I must not explain detail. Climate is the total condition of weather for long time. That's why the climate is being changed across the world. That's why it is one of the burning issue across the world, that we should be careful about climate. The next one, life below water. That means water is another important arena of our life. We are polluting water. That's why the lives below water are already endangered, like as fisheries and to some other resources. 15, life on land. That means on the surface, earth surface. That if you want to mention here, there is biodiversity below water and on the land. 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. It is also important for sustainable development. There should be peace, and if you want to ensure peace, there will be need justice and strong institutions. If you want to ensure justice, then your institutions must be strong enough to ensure justice there, and that will ensure the peace in the society as well as in the country and the world. The last goal of sustainable development, that is partnerships for the goals. I have already discussed about partnership in the key term. The importance of partnership in achieving SDG. What is the importance here? You know, in type of development need group of people work for and enjoy the benefits are called partners. They have ownership in the development and perform their respective duties and responsibilities perfectly to enjoy the benefits. That means a group of people must work for the development. Why they will work? Because of they will enjoy the benefits, and for that interest they are working. That's why they are called partners. And as their partners, that's why they have ownership in the development, and only for that purpose they perform their respective duties and responsibilities perfectly. Partnership emphasizes maximum benefits for maximum number of people. What is partnership ensure? There is a maximum benefits for maximum number of people. It will ensure participation of the people in maximum number, and that will ensure the benefits in maximum. Considering the interest of all development should be carried out, everybody should consider from their respective position. Partnership is very vital in implementing sustainable development. There's a template of partnership I show you here. That is share, cooperate, business, participate, support, trust, help, teamwork. All these are the part and parcel of partnership. The next one, how partnership formed. It would be individual, like as everyone or every sector has a stake, and one has to be considered from his or her respective position. That means every individual is considered here, that he is the partner of the partnership program. Everyone in the government or non-governmental sectors might be the partner. Every individual person or groups at all levels of the society has to come forward and work together to build a partnership that is in the individual stage. The next is a society institution. For this to work, there should be a partnership between the society and institutions that have influence over the state. That means here the partnership will be formed in between society and the institutions which are available in the society, that will ensure a good partnership, that will influence over the state. You can see here stages and SDGs and me. What will be role of mine as individual? or as a group of people, or government or non-government, as others. And partnership might be national stage. National partnership is an important issue in achieving SDG. People of all classes have to be included in this process. That means here, not only the people of upper class or not only the people of the in upper position of the country will work for the partnership. Rather, people from all class and caste must be ensured to participate in partnership in the national stage. And another one, the last one is international stage. The main goal of sustainable development is to establish international cooperation through mutual relationship or mutual partnership. That's why United Nations introduced this sustainable development process. Each country will work for their own as well as the international community as per their own capacity. That here, each of the countries of the world are work for their own interest, and that is converted for the development of international community. If some people are left behind, the development will not be sustainable nationally or globally. Here, if I give an example to you that all the parts of your body are working together to keep you fit. If any part of your body is sick, then in that time it will not call the completely physically fit body or you are completely physically fit. Like that, if some people are left behind, that must not be called the development sustainable way nationally or globally. You can see this is template, international partners here. This is the earth and the partnership formed to develop the earth. Probable results of achieving SDG. What will be the result if we achieve SDG? To save our planet, implementation of SDGs is very much important. If you want to save our earth or planet, then it's our utmost duty to implement the SDGs in any way. Climate change has been a big concern for human beings, society, agro-production, and lives on land and in water. We will move forward for sports, science, and technology. The doors of education, culture, and knowledge will remain open. There will be free flow of information, and right to information will be protected. If we want to achieve SDG, these results will be appear. You can see this is the action of climate change. This is drought, cyclone, and this is the fire. You can gaze. What will be the fire? You already knew about this in your previous classes. The probable result will be the poverty line will be brought to almost zero, that is zero hunger. Basic needs will be met. I have already mentioned what are the basic needs. And next one, women repression will reduce due to gender equality and women empowerment. Environment for healthy living will be created through supply of clean water and sanitation in both rural and urban areas. Different natural disasters like flood, drought, tidal surge, cyclone, river erosion will minimize. That means disasters will be minimized if the SDG will implement. You can see this is the real scenario of our city Dhaka. If you visit Dhaka to some extent in some places, these are the people of the floating people are leading their life, how the life is there. That means they're living under the poverty line. That's why first one is poverty line will be brought to almost zero. If SDG implemented, then that will be zero. The next one, due to rise of renewable sustainable energy, agro and industrial production will increase. Anarchy will reduce and stability will increase through justice in the society. Anarchy means the disorder of law and violation is available in the society, that is called anarchy. That means if there is available of violence, rape, corruption, bribery, dowry, etc., that situation in the society is called anarchy. And stability means there is no stable situation in the society, that is stability, instability. And if the SDG is implemented, then anarchy will reduce and stability will increase through justice. By what? That is justice in the society. Political instability will reduce by strengthening democratic institutions. Here, the notable point is that political instability, if we want to minimize the political instability, then we have to strengthen the democratic institutions of the country. If the democratic institutions of the country is strong enough, then they will ensure the political stability across the country, that will ensure across the world. The next one, social, economic, and political problems will be resolved through expanded partnership with other countries. That means not only in our country. If social, economic, and political problems will be resolved, then that will expanded partnership with other countries, and through this way, countries to countries partnership will ensure the stability across the world. And this is the earth. I have shown here that the sustainable energy, and that will ensure renewable sustainable energy. If it is ensured, then agro and industrial production will increase and decrease the harmful effect on the environment. Next stage of today's discussion, that is challenges of Bangladesh towards achieving SDG. What are the challenges in terms of achieving SDG in our country? As part of universal welfare, a country has a structured plan for holistic development. Holistic development means total development process, like SDG. That means SDG is a structured plan. You already know that there are 17 goals and 169 objectives, 230 indicators. That's why it's a plan. The remarkable challenges are unequal distribution of resources. Since the resource distribution is not equal, and disparity and poverty. These are the remarkable challenges. While we are talking about zero poverty, then disparity of wealth and resources being widened across the world, among the people of the country. Like as the distance widened between the developed country to developing country, and developing country to underdeveloped country, rural area to urban area, educated people to undereducated people. Like this disparity is widened. Another one is poverty is acute due to the increasing gap between rich and poor for the disparity of resources. That means the gap between rich and poor is increasing due to the disparity of resources. That means the resources are stored amongst the people, those who are rich. That means rich people are becoming richer day by day, and the poor people are becoming poorer day by day. That means the disparity increased and the gap of resources also increased, which is not at all expected for SDG. The rate of poverty and extreme poverty has been reduced significantly here, but the gap between earning and consumption is still evident across the world. This is the barrier, and Bangladesh is not out of this situation. Here you can see zero poverty 2020 and 30. Within 2030, that means this is the last tenure of SDG, and within this period, poverty will decrease, or zero hunger or zero poverty will be ensured. This is the plan. The next stage is And a section of people is becoming immensely rich by grabbing the land, rivers, forest, or even capturing financial institutions, and that leads to an imbalanced society. You can see the people, those who are grabbing this land and the rivers or forest, they are becoming rich through grabbing these resources, and that will increase the imbalance in the society. Due to uninterrupted race of develop for the development worldwide and use of unplanned fossil energy, the adverse impacts of climate change are obvious to all. You already know that due to the industrialization, the developed country, they have already emission huge amount of carbon, that is introduce the global warming, or that increase the rate of global warming. That's why the adverse impacts on climate is obvious to us. Lack of transparency and accountability down from individual to collective level has become a challenge towards achieving the SDG. Here, lack of transparency and accountability in the individual stage and collective stage, both level, there is lack of transparency and accountability, and that is the biggest challenge towards achieving SDG. You can see transparency and accountability should be ensured. This is the template I show you. Lack of coordination and partnership between public and private institutions, disparity of wealth, earning, consumption, gender, even the regional disparity also. Problems originating out of unplanned industrialization and urbanization, lack of measures in addressing natural or social disasters, weaknesses in infrastructural development, shortage of gas, fuel, and power supply, and mismanagement in appropriate marketing of agro products. Here, there's some points. Public and private institutions, there's the lack of coordination. And disparity, I have already discussed about that. Problems of originating out of unplanned industrialization and urbanization. Due to unplanned industrialization, we are facing the climate change issue or global warming issue. And urbanization also, we can see as per example of the condition of our Dhaka city. The lack of measures in addressing natural social disasters. In this perimeter, in this parameter, we observed that we have lack of measures to address the natural or social disasters. Social disasters means the mental instability, political instability, loss of norms and values, and religious degradation, etc., etc. And weaknesses in infrastructural development. That means we can see the weaknesses in the construction of roads, highways, buildings, mills and industry, etc., etc. And there's shortage of gas, fuel and power supply, mismanagement of appropriate marketing of agro products. That means in the marketing of agro products, there remain mismanagement. That means like as chemicals, pesticides, insecticides, etc. You can see this is the picture of our beloved Dhaka city. Can you imagine that if there is any strong earthquake there or major earthquake there, what will be the consequence? It is easily you can guess. Actions needed to address the challenges. What will be the action if you want to address the challenges to achieve our SDG? The main focus of sustainable development is society, economic and conservation of environment. We have already mentioned in the very inception of our today's lecture. If any development plan is formulated and implemented keeping these things in consideration, that means the society, economy and conservation of environment, It will ensure all sectors, government alone or any individual or institution cannot address the challenges of SDGs. That means it is impossible for anyone single to address the challenges. It might be government, it might be individual or any institution. Then what? It will be like as a flow, as individual that will convert to family, and family convert to society, and then society to society, that will the national level, and finally it is the international arena. For example, one of the challenges of development is environment pollution. This is the main focus of sustainable development: environment, social and economic. As per example, heavy rainfall causes waterlogging in big cities that hampers road transportation. As a result, the low earning people lose their work. They cannot go to their working place, and the schools, colleges or workplaces in time, and shops remain closed. Then outbreak of different diseases might happen during this time. Instead of throwing away litters, polythene bags, used packets of chips in a specific place, we throw them away indiscriminately. As a result, roadside sewerage is blocked. Due to long time water stagnation, different problems occur. These are the common scenario in our city life. Especially if you visit the Dhaka city or Chittagong, then you can see there's some huge garbage is located on the roadside. But the people, they are not used to throw their litters, polythene bags, packets of chips in that specific place. Rather, they throw all these indiscriminately on the roadside. As a result, roadside sewer is blocked, and the stagnation of water that creates different types of problems in health, environment, etc., etc. At first, we have to be aware of the consequences of such activities. We have realized that Bangladesh has to face a bundle of challenges in implementing SDG. You can see this is the scenery of waterlogging in Dhaka, Bangladesh. This type of scenery you can see nowadays. This is very much common, Dhaka and also in Chittagong. Then reducing disparity in income, consumption, gender, region, and wealth to a greater extent is needed to eradicate poverty in all sectors. That means from all sectors, this should be removed. That reducing disparity in income, consumption, and disparity between gender, and disparity between region, and also wealth or resources, that must be reduced. That will eradicate poverty. Appropriate strategies should be taken and should be institutionalized. That means strategies must need and that should be institutionalized, not only the individual stage. Adopting and implementing coordinated programs with the participation of the government and other stakeholders. That means it might be the public-private partnership, triple P, public, private, and partnership. And resource mobilization from home and abroad has to be expedited. That means it must not be limited to someone. That should be the mobilization, place to place, man to man, that will ensure. Ensuring uninterrupted flow of information and analysis of data. And to address the effects of climate change, conservation of environment and development measures taken accordingly to necessity. Then it will enhancing skills of the common people and creating employment opportunities. Reasonable supply of fund or wealth should be ensured. Besides facilities for education, healthcare, training, and other services, infrastructural facilities have to be enhanced. Skills development of general people is very much important here. Creating facilities and providing institutional assistance. That means if you want to develop a skilled people or skilled manpower, then you have to provide the facilities, institutional facility and assistance to them. Then they will be turned into the skilled personalities or workforce. People can mobilize resources using their skills and contribute to the social development process of the country. That means if they are skilled, then they can mobilize their resources and contribute for the development of the society and as well as for the country. And for that, training is very much important for skill and development. A process of policy making, formulating plan on priority basis, and improving institutional and socio-economic environment needed to be strengthened. Here, policy planning must needed, and that will formulating plan basis on priority. That means there are some huge type of problems. Which problems will get priority? That will be decided, and based on the priority, planning, formulating plan, etc., will be ensured. Then monitoring and mentoring are imperative at every step of implementing plans. If you want to implement plans, then we have to need monitor and mentoring the workforce. Then strong political commitment is needed to include everyone in this endeavor in implementing the SDGs. Since the political leaders are the pioneer or key player for the development. That's why a strong political commitment is must. Besides, political unrest has to be stopped. That means clash between political parties, among the political parties, party to party, that must be stopped. That will ensure the plan of SDG. And then measures have to be taken to stop money laundering. You know what is money laundering? Money laundering means you have to you send money from the country to other country by illegal way or immoral way. That is money laundering. This is corruption. This is illegal. This is violation of law. Special programs are needed to eradicate extreme poverty and minimize poverty rates. Economic policy should be taken in a way so that economic development appears even. Priority has to be given on the improvement of education, culture, health, and sanitation. That means these are the key criteria. Education, it will ensure the consciousness amongst the people. Culture, it will develop the good human beings. And health and sanitation will ensure the good health of the people. Apart from increasing budgetary allocations in these sectors, management and monitoring has to be strengthened. Here, monitoring is important. Not only allocate the budget, you have to increase the budget in these sectors, above sectors, and ensure the proper management, and later on what kind of management and the allocation of budget and monitoring will be strengthened here. Then in the perspective of our country, we are dreaming to make a digital Bangladesh with middle income status by 2021. Achieving SDG by 2030 and turn Bangladesh into a developed country by 2041. You already knew that in 2015, we included ourselves as lower middle income country. And Bangladesh government has planned within 2021 we are desiring to entering middle income status, and achieving SDG 2030 we are appearing for developed country within 2041. That's why we have to ensure that everyone has equal rights as a citizen of the country and everyone has equal human dignity. Improvement and awakening in education and cultural sectors, although the energy sector has been given priority in the present budget, strong monitoring is needed. Here, but you see that Strong monitoring. Monitoring, I have mentioned several times. That means monitoring is mentioned several times. This is very much important. Measures have to be taken to address the challenges needed for carrying out investigation on land and in the sea to ensure gas supply. Here, this is the template of Digital Bangladesh. Young Bangla, might be this is the initiative I just mentioned here. As since you are the young people, that's why young, the word young I choose. Then there are some negative factors go through with the socio-economic development. That means if we discuss about the third law of Newton, there should be action has equal reaction. Like that, if there is development, there are some negative factors. For example, advancement immensely in ICT. Since this is very much well known to you, that's why this example is given here. Advancement immensely in ICT, this is available, but we are undergoing the threat of cyber security problems due to the misuse of IT. Development plans considering the risk factors and proceed to implementation needs both human capacity building and human development. Different programs based on priorities, effective implementation of planned activities, stopping and kind of waste, combating corruption, and inclusion of the country's citizens. That means if we want to avoid the negative factors, then we have to continue these type of programs. That is planned activity, then stopping any kind of wastage, combating corruption, and inclusion of the country's citizens. And they're equally important is to ensure transparency and accountability of the state. Not only the individual, institution, or group of people must be state or the country. This is the template of cyber security here. And lastly, dear cadets, at a glance we will see that there's an option in the learning outcome that you have to prepare a poster. I just show you this. You can make a poster like this way of the 17 goals. Then this is for your home task. This is the STEM. Scene 1, a real estate company, after filling some portions of a river, is selling out plots by displaying billboards on the land beside. Scene 2, the tannery industry has been shifted to Shabhar, but the waste management has not been done yet. The garbage is being dumped into the nearby canal. Scene 3, the citizens of City Corporation A have made their areas beautiful and livable by maintaining their own roles and responsibilities instead of depending on the government. Question number 1, define sustainable development. Question number 2, why the sustainable development is important for Bangladesh. Question number 3, explain which areas have been indicated in scene 1 and 2. Question number 4, evaluate the statement mentioned in the scene 3 is an example of how to ensure holistic and universal development all over the world. Question please. If there is any question regarding this class, put your question in the comment box. I will clarify during the class time, please. The topic for your next class, that will be revision of chapter 3, solar system. And I know that your Ikram sir is taking class on the chapter 5. He will finish this chapter in his next class, and then we will start our revision. And you have to sit for the MCQ exam from 18 July. That's why prepare yourself for that. And finally, again, stay home, stay safe from the COVID-19. Stay blessed and pray. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.